Welcome, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to QPAC Live, a program of the Queensborough Performing Arts Center. We are so happy to have you here with us tonight. Each week, we come to you live to celebrate the arts and to bring you programs that are exciting and unique. And tonight is no exception. Now, before I introduce you to our guests, I want to tell you a little bit about our Q&A. You see, we do things differently here from the way we do them at the theater. Today, you can interact with us. You could ask me questions, you could ask our guests questions, and we're going to answer them. All you need to do is type in your questions below as you watch the broadcast. So please stick around for the Q&A. But first, let me tell you about this fabulous group. This 5-person singing sensation sings a cappella. And what that means, for those of you that don't know, they sing without music. So you see, everything you hear, all of the instruments, all of the sounds, everything you hear will be coming just from their vocals. It is truly exceptional. And what they do is they reimagine or rearrange songs of every genre, many of which you will know. They've been seen on NBC and on Fox, and they are a YouTube sensation with over 10 million views. 10 million views and 110,000 subscribers. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to introduce the YouTube sensation Backtrack vocals. Please enjoy this performance and stick around for our Q&A. Nice to have you with us.
Shining star for you to see what your life can truly be. Shining star for you to see what your life can truly be. Shining star, no matter who you are, shine bright to see what you truly be. You're a shining star, no matter who you are, shine bright to see what you can truly be. Gotta make a move to a town that's right for me. Town to keep me moving, keep me grooving with some energy. Well, let's talk about it, talk about it, talk about it, talk about it. Talk about moving. I gotta move on. Won't you take me to Funky Town? Won't you take me to Funky Town? Won't you take me to Funky Town? Won't you take me to Funky Town?
Till the roof off, we gonna till the roof off the mother sucker. Till the roof off the sucker. Till the roof off, we gonna till the roof off the mother sucker. Till the roof off the sucker.
You got a real type of thing going down, getting down. There's a whole lot of rhythm going round. You got a real type of thing going down, getting down. There's a whole lot of rhythm going round. Ah, we want the funk. Give up the funk. Ah, we need the funk. We gotta have the funk. Ah, we want the funk. Give up the funk. Ah, we need the funk. We gotta have the funk. Oh.
There's a party going on right here. It's celebrations last throughout the years. So bring your good times and your laughter too. We're gonna celebrate your party with you. Come on now.
Celebration.
Let's all celebrate and have a good time, yeah.
Celebration, everyone around the world. Come on, celebrate good times. Come on,
It's a celebration.
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 celebrate good times. Come on.
Da 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 da.
I learned to slam on the brake before I even turn the key, before I make a mistake, before I lead with the worst of me. Step out of the sign if you keep getting burned. Step out of the sign because you learn. On the outside, always looking in, will I never be more than I've always been? Cause I'm tapping on the glass, waving through the window. Can anybody see? Is anybody waving back at me?
Cause all that it takes is a little reinvention. It's easy to change if you give it your attention. All you gotta do is just believe you can be who you wanna be. Sincerely me. Why should I play this game of pretend? Remembering through a secondhand sorrow. Such a great son and wonderful friend. Oh, don't the tears just pour? Why should I have a heavy heart? Why should I start to break in pieces? Why should I go and fall apart for you? Why should I play the grieving girl and lie, saying that I miss you and that my world has gone dark without your light? I will sing no requiem tonight.
If I could tell her everything I see. If I could tell her how she's everything to me. But we're a million worlds apart, and I don't know how I would even start. If I could tell her, if I could tell her. Have you ever felt like nobody was there? Have you ever felt forgotten in the middle of nowhere? Have you ever felt like you could disappear? Like you could fall and no one would hear? And oh, someone will come running, and I know they'll take you home. Even when the dark comes crashing through, when you need a friend to carry you, and when you're broken on the ground, you will be found. So let the sun come streaming in, 'cause you'll reach up and you'll rise again. Lift your head and look around. You will be found. All we see is sky for forever. We let the world pass by for forever. Feels like we could go on for forever this way, this way. All we see is love. All we see is 'cause the sun burns me. We could be alright for forever this way. All we see is sky for forever. All we see is sky for forever.
What? Are you kidding me? I don't know about you, but I mean, it sounded to me like there was a band playing. I need to find out more about this art form. And so we're going to invite the group in. Now, everybody get ready because the room is going to start to get very crowded. We're going to bring in our guests one at a time. So first, we're going to bring in Melissa. Melissa, will you join us?
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you. We can hear you. Looking great. Melissa, thanks for that great performance. Hang on, because someone's knocking at my door. I've got I've got Mike with us. Mike, will you step in?
Hey everyone.
Great to see you, Mike. And just when you thought it was getting crowded, it's going to get a lot more crowded. Sit back. We've got Mallory with us. She's standing by. Come on in, Mallory.
Hello.
Hey, great to see you. Great to see you. And the group is still not complete. We have got with us Jojo. Here he comes. Jojo, join us.
Hello.
I get such a giggle at listening to Jojo speak. I'll let you guess what instrument he is in the ensemble. And we've got, last but certainly not least, we've got Johnny making his way in. Come on in, Johnny. We've got you. Hold on, Johnny. We've got you. Got to oh, I think Johnny's having a little bit of delay. Johnny, I think you're muted, so unmute yourself when you can. He may pop out and pop back in. I don't know, but this is the most crowded our studio has gotten. Hi, guys. How's everybody doing today?
We're great.
Doing good. Doing well.
We're gonna let Johnny pop out and pop back in when he can.
Johnny says hi.
Ooh, Johnny does says hi. I think, is he back yet? Not quite yet. Okay, so here's my first question for you. We have burning questions. Folks have been asking these questions. They've started. Okay, so they've started asking their questions. I'm going to kick things off, and then we're going to turn it over to our audience. So, where does the name Backtrack come from?
So the name Backtrack was actually formed by the original members of the group. As you could see from the videos, there were a couple members who are not present today. The group has had different iterations. And so the first four letters of the original founding members spell out the word back. And then the double meaning with backtrack, as in we are our own backing track. We don't need any instruments. That sort of stuck, and we still keep it to this day because we like it.
Wow, that's really terrific. So among all of you, who has been with the group the longest?
So I've been in it the longest, and then Melissa, and then we have Johnny, Mike, and then Jojo joined most recently in 2018.
Fabulous. So
Yeah.
how did, I mean, and I understand that the group has sort of changed over time, but let's talk about the five of you. How did the five of you meet?
So the five of us did not know each other before joining the group. So we kind of like to say that the group found us, but we were connected to Backtrack vocals in different ways. When I auditioned, the group was still just doing YouTube videos. So they said, hey, we want to start performing live for fun around New York City. And at the time I was like, okay, that sounds like something I want to do. So I met the original founder through a more casual singing group in the city. And then Mallory and Mike met through mutual singer friends, and same with Johnny and Jojo. So kind of two degrees of separation brought us to the group.
That's crazy. So I'm taking the first question from Karen. Karen wants to know, I think she wants to know what is the smallest number of performers you could have to do something like this, and what would be the largest to do something like this? It seems to me that you're all sort of, you're either singing or you're emulating an instrument. Is that correct?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say, you know, we have Johnny, who unfortunately might be having connectivity issues, but yes, we give him a solo in a lot of our shows. So in terms of, you know, really the smallest, he kind of is in his own camp. So we'll have him do a solo, but then, you know, the four of us, Jojo, Melissa, Mike, and myself, we've done a quartet. We've also done a trio. Melissa, Mike, and I have done just a trio song where Mike and I both throw in a little beatboxing here and there, or we sort of switch around different parts. And then we can get as big as, I mean, we've sung with full choirs before, you know, it's just doubling parts. You know, we've gone up to 6 or 7 parts, but typically it's 4 singing parts and our beatboxer.
So that's really incredible. Mallory, did you say you beatbox?
Oh no, I might have signed up for something.
I won't put you on the spot just just yet. But that is, I don't think I've ever seen a female beatboxer. I don't think.
They
But
are
I
rare.
hope
They are rare. We
they are
actually
rare.
all beatbox. We all beatbox at different levels. That's one of the bits that we do in our show, where we kind of do a sort of a mock beatbox battle. So we're all varying levels. I would say Jojo is at the top of the level. So if you want to put someone on the spot, you might want to put him.
I think Mallory might be
Really,
the top.
really, I don't know.
Wait a minute. So let me just get this straight though. But Jojo, it's so confusing to me. But because everything blends so seamlessly that it's hard to sort of separate. I love to be able to go, okay, they're singing that part, she's singing that part. But sometimes the blend is so spectacular that you really can't pull it apart. Now, Jojo, you're for the most part doing the bass. Am I correct?
Yeah. In any given song, I'm usually the lowest note.
And I just, your voice is so spectacular that just listening to you just makes me smile. Okay.
Thank you.
So then you have Mike. Now, where is Mike? That Mike, I'll tell you. So, oh no, Mike, you're there. I'm sorry. Where is? I'm just so confused at this point.
We're missing Johnny, but we're both in Brooklyn, if that answers your question as to where we are.
So we lost Johnny temporarily, correct?
We did. Johnny does all the beatboxing.
Johnny does the beatbox. Okay,
right.
So he's really doing drums. Johnny is like the drums, the percussion, the beatbox. Okay, so then we have let's see now, Mallory. I can pick up that sometimes you're doing the melody for these songs and you're singing the lyrics. Is that correct?
Correct. So the original formation was, I'm technically soprano if we want to keep it simple, but Melissa and I both have a range that sort of lends itself to both parts. So sometimes I'm singing lower than she is and vice versa. But we all switch around melodies and solo lines, sometimes within the same song. Sometimes, we say this is going to be a Mallory solo or a Mike solo for the whole song. But typically we are switching around even within the same song.
Well, I think that's great because it keeps it fresh and it forces the audience to pay really close attention, because just when you think you say, okay, I'm hearing that voice, it's that person, you switch it up and now you've got to sort of readjust. So you're keeping the audience on their toes. And I love that. Ron had a question for us. I'm going to put that right up here. Who comes up with the ideas storyboard for the videos? Yeah, I was noticing that the videos are so well produced. They're busy and they're exciting and they're fresh. How does it all come together? Thank you for that question, Ron.
Well, first off, Susan, thank you for saying that they're well produced and that they look nice. We really appreciate that. What's really cool about Backtrack is that a lot of our work is done in-house. So we are the video producers, whether it's behind the camera to the day of the shoot, to editing the video itself, to actually sitting down and saying, here's what we kind of want this to look like. We also collaborate in the editing process. So that Beethoven video that you saw, that was a joint effort of Mallory and myself. And we kind of just hit the ground running saying, all right, we've got this idea where maybe it's in a theater, but it's not. And half of it's live and half of it's in front of a green screen. And it's a lot of fun to put together. I'll say that much.
It's very interesting, Mike, because, now that I've been doing these live broadcasts out of necessity, I'm learning things at record speed. And what you just mentioned there, you mentioned a green screen, you mentioned other things. So you really have to have all that stuff sort of readily available. Is that correct?
I mean, yes and no. We like to joke that we do a lot kind of just on the fly. We have a whole video that we shot on an iPhone in its entirety. It documents our trip to LA. That's our Taylor Swift Lover medley. You can check that out on our YouTube channel. Shameless plug.
I love it. I saw that. That's so funny because I was watching that and I saw Melissa was in one of the chairs on the plane. And I went, oh my God, that looks so good. You mean to tell me that was shot from a phone? Oh my goodness. You see, that really inspires me. That inspires me. Now, hang on, because Michelle has a question. Johnny, just so you know, Johnny is sort of coming in, coming out. There he is. He's trying to join us again. I'm going to bring him back into the stream. Johnny, you've had a bumpy ride.
Hey, y'all. It's been a technical difficulty whirlwind over here. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, and we're happy to have you with us. So stick around for as long as you can. Michelle's asking you
I'll
a
be here
question.
as long as I can.
Michelle says, who in the group comes up with the arrangements? Excellent question, Michelle. Who comes up with and they're such great arrangements. I mean, what I want to know is, yes, who comes up with the arrangements? And do you hear like the bass line first, or do you hear the drums first, or what do you hear first? How does that work?
So, so Melissa and I do most of the arranging for the group as it is right now. I think all of the songs that you heard in those videos were done by Andrew, who you saw actually in the Beethoven video and the Dear Evan Hansen video. He was the founder and old bass of the group. But I think Melissa and I have a little bit of different processes in terms of mine. I like to start with the rhythm section. Which is the me and Johnny. So I'll lay down his, the drum pattern, the beat, and then I'll try and put a bass line together that works with it. And then from there, I go through and I add the 3 upper harmonies. And so, yeah, I guess I work from the bottom up, and the solo is usually the last thing that I do.
So wait a minute. Adele's saying, oh my God, Jojo, how low is your voice? That is so funny. I was thinking the same thing. So let me understand this. So Jojo, are you telling me that you also arranged for the gals?
Yes.
Woo! Do you have any formal training, like arrangements and on things like that, or is it just something that comes naturally to your ear?
That's a great question. So I was an instrumentalist before I was a singer, and I think when you learn how to play, I played violin, and so I gathered a lot of music theory knowledge from that, because it's important to understand. I think singing is probably the most accessible form of music, but in terms of instruments, it's more important to know the music theory and stuff behind that. So once I had that foundation, I was sort of able to transfer it over and use my knowledge of music theory to help me out with chord structures and progressions and things like that.
Oh my goodness! Well, that is an incredible gift. Johnny, we talked all about you, but you didn't know that because you weren't here. We were talking about your incredible ability to beatbox, and it seems that Mallory has some skills too. Johnny, unmute yourself so you can join in on the conversation. There you go. Ron says, Jojo, you play violin?
Can you yes, actually, everybody.
We can hear you, Johnny. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Hey, everybody. Thank you for the compliments when I wasn't here. And also, yes, you were saying that Mallory also can drop some beats. Was that?
Yes, that's what we were saying.
Yes, we were speaking that everybody in the group can.
We have a comment from Bass Pro. Bass Pro happens to be I happen to know who he is. He's a great musician. And he says to me, Johnny, I'm looking for a drummer. Are you available for a metal band? Woo! I mean,
amazing.
That would be.
I love metal music.
I mean, that can't be easy. It can't be easy doing anything for a metal band without the actual physical instrument, I would think. So I need to ask you guys a question about being YouTube sensations. How did that happen? I mean, I'm sort of new to this forum. I should say the Queensborough Performing Arts Center is new to this forum, but we are steadily picking up viewers, and we're so happy about it, because really our goal is just to continue to connect to our audiences. Before the theater went dark, we were serving 168,000 people a year. And unfortunately, not all of them utilize this medium, but we are trying to stay connected to as many of them as possible. How did you become a YouTube sensation, and how could we learn from you in terms of picking up viewers? I mean, 110,000 subscribers, 10 million viewers. Teach me.
Yes. Well, I will say, I mentioned the original group, and they were really, we have to give them props, because when I joined the group, I don't know how many subscribers they had already gained, but it was definitely in the multiple thousands. And I know that Melissa and I were both in the group when we reached 100,000, and that was a huge feat. But I would say, you know, we joined the YouTube scene at a really good time, which was when acapella was starting to really enter into the mainstream, and it was more of a top of mind art form because of the Pitch Perfect movies. The group Pentatonics were blowing up at the time, and YouTube also wasn't as saturated as it is now. We formed our channel in 2013, so it wasn't quite at the point it is now where, you know, major networks are on there. So we didn't have to compete with that. So I would say it's tough to give advice now because we are trying to keep up ourselves and continue to grow our following. But I would say if you're trying to start a channel, a big piece of advice would be, you know, really have a vision, have a schedule, and kind of have those check marks of making it look visually pleasing. And I think also what we did was, in the beginning, we chose songs that we knew were going to be highly searchable. So we wanted to do a song that was going to be, you know, kind of on that top 40 list. So people would search, you know, a cappella version of this or just the song itself, and hopefully we would come up. So.
Well,
Yeah.
you know, you mentioned, it's so interesting. You mentioned doing a song maybe that people know, and so it would sort of bring them to your channel faster. You do so many different genres of music. I mean, that's what's so crazy. We just heard Beethoven, and we heard a bunch of funk stuff. We heard Celebration. We heard all these songs. So I see some of our guests are asking, how do you select the songs? But also, I have a question for you. And Melissa or Mike, maybe you could jump in on this. What I'd like to know, since you do perform so many different genres, is there an expert in each genre? For example, Melissa, are you the funk girl? And Mike, do you come up with the Broadway show tunes? And how does that work? Do each of you sort of have an expertise in a certain area or a certain type of music? Or is it just sort of a, hey, I have a great idea for a song?
I'll speak quickly and then I'll let Melissa jump in, just because you did kind of accidentally hit a nail on the head. So Mallory and I got our start in the theater. So it's funny that you joke about the Broadway show tune thing. But really, our song selection comes from things that we're passionate about. And we are always interested in building an interesting show. So if we have varying, you know, audience members, different age groups, different age levels, we listen to them. We want to know what they want to hear when they go to places like QPAC to see us. So we really build our sets kind of based on what we're inspired by and what our audience really wants to hear and what makes a good show.
Yeah, when we first started, as Mallory said, the group tried to cover songs that were highly searchable, so a lot of that top 40 pop music. But as we have grown into a full-time performing group as well, we have to look at our set, as Mike said, and just see what type of music is missing. And then in terms of picking exact songs, we all are always throwing out ideas. And then a lot of the time, if an arranger feels particularly inspired by a song, they'll come to the group with that. So I think with Beethoven, that was one of Andrew's passion projects. So he brought it to the group. And we're yes men, so we'll do anything that an arranger is passionate about.
Now, let me ask you a question. I see that one of our guests is touching upon this. I didn't hear much in the way of horn parts. Am I correct? And can any of you emulate horns?
I would say we do try to, and I would love the arrangers more to speak to this, but we all, you know, talk about this, that I think we like to sort of more emulate voices and heavy harmonies, really more like we are a vocal ensemble and not necessarily imitating instruments always. I mean, if it's a song that we like, the funk medley, Mike and I go ba 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 da da da, like that was definitely like trumpety kind of sound, but that's usually for a particular song. Whereas I think we tend to try to lean more towards, you know, we have the rhythm section, we have the soloist, and then we have like the background singers. So that's kind of tends to be our style more so.
That makes a lot of sense to me. Now, folks, I'm so glad you're watching. Don't move because this is going to get crazy. So, Mallory, you just did something for me, which I love. I'm going to ask you to do it again. I want to hear each one of you by yourselves. Just a little something so that we can sort of get a sense of how it all comes together. So, I mean, would you like to pick a particular song that you could all sort of, each one of you can give us a sample of what you do in that song? Or do you just want to give us a little sample of your voices?
It'd be cool to pick a song if y'all are down for that.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe like a Stand By Me or something.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, that's like one of my favorite songs, and it's so relevant today. So, okay, so raise your hand. Who wants to go first?
Mel start because she starts us off.
Yeah, I start
Okay.
off with a solo.
Okay, so Melissa, I'm going to put you on solo. Hang on a minute, and we're eagerly awaiting, hearing you sing your part. And again, just a minute or so, and then we're going to jump on. In fact, what we can do is, Melissa, when you're done singing your section or your little piece, why don't you tell me who we should jump to, and I'll do that. Okay?
Okay, sounds
So
good.
here we go, ladies and gentlemen, for your listening pleasure. Here we go with Melissa.
When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we'll see, I won't cry, no, I won't shed a tear, just as long as you stand by me.
Yeah.
That's the beginning of the solo. I guess maybe let's jump to Mal and she can do.
Okay, here we go now. Take it over, baby.
Okay, I'll pick it up. Same day, hopefully. And darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me.
Yes. Beautiful, so beautiful, clear as a bell. And who should we jump to?
Let's go to Mike.
Mike is in the house.
All right, so this is where you're going to hear some of like the acapella part. So where I would pick up from there would just go. Ooh, oh, ooh, oh, ooh, oh, oh, ooh, oh. I think you got some of the subway in the background. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny because I love to sing, but my let me get up here so that you can see me. But my wish or hope or dream, it was never really to be a star or to be the focus. I always wanted to be the backup singer. I mean, my real dream, I'm going to share it with all of you today. And who knows if he's out there, maybe he'll ring me. But I've always wanted to be a backup singer for Stevie Wonder. That was just it. Okay. So Mike, tell me who we're going to jump to.
Let's jump to Jojo next.
Woo, Jojo,
Okay, word.
let's do this.
Yeah, so I just sing the same thing over the whole time, which is the bass line of the song, which is do do da da do do da da do do da do do da da do da da do do da da do do da da do do.
I love it.
Thanks.
That is just spectacular. So that leaves us with Johnny. Johnny, you ready to give us a little beatbox? I'm bringing you in.
Yes. Let's see if this works. But here we go with what I would add for the drum part.
Yes. Woo! Hey, I learned this week that it's hard to clap because people really can't hear you clap. But if you go like this, everyone can sing you, shake your hands. Woo! So that's me giving you a standing ovation. Woo! All right. So let me ask you a question. Which one of you, now folks, don't remember please to turn your mics back on when you're ready to speak. Let me ask you, which one of you is the most likely to forget a lyric?
It's going to be me. I'm going to say me. Yeah, for sure. I don't really sing words that often. So sometimes when I do, it's, yeah.
That is so funny. Well, Jojo, I really respect you stepping up and taking that right on. And, I loved reading about how you do these programs for the young people and how after they see you, so many of them say, well, I want to put together my own group. How does that make you feel? I mean, Mallory, yeah, go ahead.
Yes, we love the educational stuff. It's where we all got our start, and it's something that we love doing because, like you said, we see the immediate impact. Oftentimes, a teacher will email us and say, either someone came out of their shell and auditioned for the choir, or they wanted to start their own group, or this person never, auditions for anything and they're showing interest now. And so just to be able to have that impact is really fulfilling and rewarding for us.
I can only imagine, because this is so much fun for me and for our guests that, the kids must just thrive. So that's wonderful. Okay, well, I hope you don't mind, but I want to just show one more piece because it's so spectacular. This encore, the song is called "This Is Us," and I believe Mallory, why don't you set it up for us?
Sure. So it's a song from The Greatest Showman, This Is Me, which is a movie came out a couple years ago. And we actually got to partner with a big a national acapella camp in Dayton, Ohio called Camp Acapella. And we were their headliners.
Wait a minute. They have a camp for acapella?
They sure do. There are a few out there. There are a few national big ones out there. And one of the ones that one of the ones we got to go to a couple years ago and headline for their campers and lead some workshops. And then we did a joint music video with all the campers and sang with them. So it was a blast. And because the song is still so popular today and really resonates today, we often do it at schools, and we do it a lot in our main stage shows as well. So.
Amazing. Okay, so this is us. Ladies and gentlemen, stick on by. I'm going to come back after this encore, and we're going to just share a few more thoughts before we end tonight's program. So stay with us, and here once again is Backtrack Vocals.
When the sharpest words wanna cut me down,
gonna stand a flood, gonna drown them out. I am brave, I am bruised, I am who I'm meant to be. This is me. I am not a stranger to the dark. Hide away, they say, 'cause we don't want your broken parts. I've learned to be ashamed of all my scars. Run away, they say, no one will love you as you are. But I won't let them break me down to dust. I know that there's a place for us, for we are glorious. When the sharpest words wanna cut me down, I'm gonna send a flood, I'm gonna drown them out. I am brave, I am bruised, I am who I'm meant to be. This is me. Look out, 'cause here I come. And I'm marching on to the beat I drum. I'm not scared to be seen, I make no apologies. This is me. Another round of bullets hits my skin. Well, fire away, 'cause today I won't let the shame sink in. We are bursting through the barricades and reaching for the sun. We are warriors, yeah, that's that's what we, yeah, that's what we become. I won't let them break me down to dust. I know that there's a place for us, for we are glorious.
When the sharpest words wanna cut me down, I'm gonna send a flood, gonna drown him out. This is brave, this is bruised, this is who I'm meant to be, this is me.
Look out, 'cause here I come. Yes, here I come. And I'm marching on to the beat I drum. We're not scared to be seen. I make no apologies. This is the sharpest word, what I cut me down. Send the blood, send the blood, when I drown them out. Whoa, whoa, oh, oh, this is me.
Hey, we're back. We're back. I'm going to bring our guests back up. I think we lost Johnny again. Well, I'm glad we got him for. Oh, wait a minute. I think he's hanging out in the green room. There he is. Come on in, Johnny.
I think I'm lagging, but I'm here.
Well, just like that, the group is together again. I really want to thank all of you for being here and sharing with us this gift. It was really extraordinary. And I know that you've inspired all of us. And the one thing that we're all doing is we're trying to keep music in our hearts and in our minds and in our souls. And you allow us to do that. And without any instruments, again, I want to bring everyone's attention to the fact that your skill is so unique, each and every one of you. So thank you for joining us. And we hope you'll come back again. And we hope to have you live when the theater reopens. For those of you that don't know, the theater is in the midst of a $13 million renovation. And that work is resuming again soon. So we believe, and you must believe, but we believe that it will reopen. The beautiful theater will reopen. We hope in just a few months, and we'll be able to share a very exciting, groundbreaking with all of you. And at that time, we'll have you back again to perform for us live. So thank you all so very, very much. And I want to just take a moment with the audience, if I may, just to let you know that the Queensborough Performing Arts Center is hosting some fabulous summer workshops starting in just a few weeks. And not only for children, but we have workshops for adults and for children. And they are very unique. These are not the workshops that you're sort of seeing around town. We have Do You Believe in Magic? This is for our young people, and it's being taught by world-renowned illusionist Reza. This is extraordinary. He doesn't often teach these kinds of workshops, but he is doing it for us. It is a 6-week workshop and also a competition. The winner of the challenge that Reza has for our children will be here, will be live with me on one of our QPAC live broadcasts. Also, we're doing a virtual talent show for the adults. And I know that we have a lot of hams out there and a lot of folks out there who do want to express themselves and develop their own skills. And you will be working with other professionals in the industry. You'll be coached, and then we will have you perform on a QPAC live broadcast. We have a fabulous dance program called Fairy Tales in Motion for the young people. They will be performing live adaptations of fairy tales. It's again going to be an exceptional program with a final performance here on QPAC Live. And then, of course, we have the fine art of songwriting with Steve Leslie, who is a Grammy award-winning songwriter. He was with us last week. He performed the music of James Taylor. He is extraordinary. And I'll tell you, just a few minutes with him, and I was ready to write a song because everyone has something to say. So we want you to check out the workshops. They are on our website, www.visitqpac.org. We want to thank, of course, all of our sponsors. They support us. They are loyal, and we know that there are a lot of exciting programs on the horizon because they help to make it so. So thank you all for tonight, and we hope you have a spectacular weekend, and we will see you next week. Next week, folks, we will have America's Sweethearts, 7 p.m. next week. I know you're going to have a good time. Do join us. Signing off. Have a wonderful weekend, and thanks again for being Team QPAC. See you soon.